She was one of the most controversial figures in recent history. Her unusual desire when it came to having children would create tons of bad publicity and backlash across a nation. Let's take a look back at the wild story of the infamous Octomom and find out what actually happened. Having big families was quite the common occurrence in the past. More children not only meant continuing a lineage for the foreseeable future, but it also was a key element when it came to survival and also provided free labor for a household. Over time, as technology improved and society had evolved past this way of thinking, smaller families became the new norm across the world. But in 2009, a single mother of 4 would shake things up quite a bit. Nadya Suleman longed for a big family after growing up an only child. She decided to get married very young in hopes to start a family of her own. Unfortunately for the newlyweds, they would face trouble conceiving. For nearly 7 years they tried to have kids using various methods, but they were all unsuccessful. With not many options remaining, she discovered the new and very expensive IVF procedure for those struggling to have children. The process consisted of eggs being extracted from the ovaries and combined with sperm in a lab to ultimately create an embryo. A single treatment approximately could cost up to $10,000. But Nadya was determined to have a child, and she worked countless hours saving up the money. Unfortunately, while working hard to secure the funds needed, her marriage would fall apart. But despite being newly single, Suleman still was determined to have a baby by any means. After saving enough cash for the procedure, she asked a close male friend to donate his sperm. He would oblige to the very unusual request, which had implications of no strings attached. Nadya was finally able to do the impossible. The treatment would be a success, and she had her first child. But she wasn't quite satisfied yet with just one. Suleman would continue to go back for more IVF cycles, resulting in a total of 6 kids in 6 years. For most single mothers, raising multiple kids alone is quite the challenge, to say the least. And Nadya's situation would be no different. Her mother offered much-needed help and allowed her family to move into her home while she went back to school to pursue a degree. Now in her early 30s and her reproductive window rapidly closing, she decided to try for one more child with the embryos she had frozen from her past treatments. In what would be considered unsafe by most medical experts, she opted to have all 6 embryos implanted in her uterus. Weeks later, during the routine checkup, it was revealed she was once again pregnant, but not with 1 baby or 2. But 7 fetuses were growing inside of her belly. This came as a shock, but Nadya was very excited with the news. After months of carrying, there would be some health complications that resulted in her needing to deliver the babies much sooner than expected. All 7 infants were delivered safely, but there was another unexpected surprise for the single mother. There was another baby inside her belly, making the total now 8 children. It was a massive oversight from the initial ultrasound. Nadya became only the second ever woman to successfully give birth to a set of octuplets in US history. Due to it being such a milestone in modern medicine, the news would spread everywhere. With Nadya's identity still under wraps, the reaction was positive from the public. But the celebration wouldn't last for very long. Shortly after the news broke of an octuplet birth, the media did more digging. Suleman was later identified as the mother, and she was famously coined the Octomom. Then the backlash and public uproar began. It was soon revealed she was single, had no job, already had 6 children prior, then decided to have octuplets. Many thought it was quite selfish, given her less than ideal situation. Other mothers, wondering how could she possibly financially afford to take care of 14 kids alone. After swirling in so much controversy in the news, Nadya decided to address the media about her decision to have so many children once and for all. The public interviews didn't help her case at all.
People feel, this woman is being completely irresponsible and selfish. to bring these children in the world
All I have to say is
without a clear source of income and enough help to raise them.
I know I'll be able to afford them when I'm done with my schooling. If I were just sitting down, watching TV, and not being as determined as I am to succeed and provide a better future for my children, I believe that would be considered, to a certain degree, selfish.
So the world outside is saying, what are you doing?
I'm providing myself to my children. I'm loving them unconditionally, accepting them unconditionally. Everything I do, I'll stop my life for them and be present with them and hold them and be with them. And how many parents do that? I'm sure there are many that do, but many don't. And that's unfortunate. And that is selfish.
Did you use the same fertility specialist for all of your pregnancies?
Yes.
So your fertility specialist knew that you already had 6 children?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How many embryos were you implanted with?
The same as with the others, 6.
Did he explain to you the risks of a multiple birth?
With all of them. Absolutely, with all of them.
You didn't want just 1 or 2 embryos?
Of course not. I wanted them all transferred. Those are my children.
The mother is unemployed, doesn't have her own home, has 6 kids because they're in the waiting room.
It doesn't sound good. I agree with you. But, you know, I've seen enough situations where things look one way, and then once you start picking at it and the story comes out, there's some extenuating circumstances. So I keep holding out hope that there are going to be extenuating circumstances.
Give me an example of what could be something to mitigate the ridiculousness of how this appears.
Well, I must admit I can't think of anything, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to come out.
I adore my kids. I love all children.
No, you don't want any more.
I wanted to be...
You don't want any more, right?
Not anymore.
Let me ask you
That's
something.
why I was so emotional with that. I do not want any more children.
I got you. So have you had your tubes tied?
See, most people don't even really understand the true story. I've had in vitro. I cannot. First and foremost, I've chosen a life of celibacy for 12 years. That wouldn't even. How could I possibly get pregnant? Would it be immaculate conception? What the heck? No, there's no possible way I could even get pregnant. I don't touch anybody. You know what I mean? So seriously, what's the point of tying my tubes if first I don't touch anybody? Second, let me talk. Second, I don't. How could I? You know, I'm not with anyone physically. Okay. And I can't. And if it was a miracle, and I were with someone in the far, far future, I can't conceive via natural procreation because of the past endometriosis and all of the reproductive problems I had, which is the reason I went through the route of in vitro fertilization.
Okay. Can I talk now?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you would not do in vitro anymore, I'm assuming then.
No.
You're not having sex, but you won't do that again. You're done.
No.
The shop is
done.
closed.
Done. Beyond factory. Baby factory closed.
The outrage continued to brew, with some people even choosing to protest outside her home, and thousands more professing she should lose custody of them. While all the negative publicity indeed boosted her celebrity, she was still struggling financially, like many predicted she would. Over time, the intrigue faded surrounding the family, but her personal troubles weren't over. With no GoFundMe sites in existence at the time, she fell into a dark spiral. Just 3 years after becoming the infamous Octomom, Suleman was forced to file for bankruptcy, claiming to be in severe debt due to student loans, having no job, and supporting 14 children on her own. Nadya later decided to appear in a softcore adult film, using the famous moniker to make some fast cash. Not only did she do that to stay afloat, she also decided to start dancing in strip clubs. Once again, the public disapproved of her decisions and questioned her as a mother. Legal troubles later arose for Suleman as the state of California accused her of welfare fraud, claiming she failed to report income while receiving over $20,000 in government assistance. Over time, her celebrity continued to dwindle, and the world would move on from the Octomom. But what are your thoughts on this story? Do you think she was acting irresponsibly, or was her desire for a large family justified? Leave a comment below and let me know.